Hello, hello, mis cielitos, and welcome back. Goku is here, and I am continuing Raging Roop. Loop. Well, I'm still reeling from what happened last stream. I don't think I fully processed that. Because I can't say I ever imagined anything like that monster appearing. Hello, Ziti. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. But it did give us key 20, which is one that I've been waiting to get for a very long time. I'm very, very eager to see, because Jamie's still been one of the very big mysteries of this game. There's clearly a lot connected to her. So, let's see. I guess it was in this part? Where is the conversation? Yeah, here we go. Oh, wow. Been a while since we've seen this CG. Huh? We're not just messing around.
Get it right, and I'm giving you a nice present. Get it wrong, and you're dead. Splosh, splosh.
Seriously? You're desperate, you need an alibi, you're a thirsty perv, you'd feel guilty if you let me die. All of them. All of them? All of them. At that moment, my head was flooded with information. It felt like my mind was crushed by a million sheep. Crap. Why'd I forget? Did my memories carry over in a weird way because the method from back then was weird? But then again, this wouldn't be the first time my memories didn't carry over properly. Maybe I should have counted myself lucky for remembering at all. I had tons of things to think about. About the beast in the village. The giant monster. The dream enveloping Fujiyoshi, as well as the looping the sheep had told me about. But this wasn't the time to worry about that.
Haruaki-san, what's wrong?
This girl. She looks different. I don't... One time, she, fearful of God, faced the wolves with me and eventually met an awful end in Saranaga. Another time, she was a cold-blooded wolf that silenced one of her own, and when cornered, tried to kill everyone. And last time, she interfered with us wolves by, for whatever reason, killing herself on the first day of the feast. Her smile that night had been burned into my mind, continuing to torment me. Jamie Serisawa. Hold on. I knew the reason why she'd done that. It was simple. She'd been dropping hints ever since the very start. They were more like slips of the tongue, small and almost impossible to notice. Petey says, "Hey, so girly pop bestie, Jamie, my beloved, we would have seen God and scared ourselves silly. We understand why you freak out every time any mention of God comes up."
Hey, you not feeling too good? Do you hate this sort of stuff? Sorry, I guess I got carried away.
All of them. Huh? All of the options you named are correct. Yeah. There were wolves here in Fujiyoshi. Yeah, you were a real murderer. And correct me if I'm wrong, but before I came to Saranaga, you were about to saw off shotgun barrels. Preparing to kill people is something you'd want to hide, so you needed an alibi. Huh? Why? You remember the previous loops.
You should hurry before I change my mind. Hey, that might have been our final farewell in this life, so I wanted to make it nice.
That was weird. You said you agreed to go on a road trip with me because you were gonna die anyway, but the mist hadn't even shown up yet when I invited you. That means you knew the mist was about to arrive. She'd lost track of what she was supposed to know and not know. It happened to me too.
Haruaki-san, you ran away because of trouble with women, right?
I thought you figured out I was dumped just because you were sharp. But if you have memories of the previous loops, it's only natural for you to know that I was dumped. I told that to you myself.
Play with me? Hold my hand. Take me on a bike ride far away. Let me spend all day sleeping in your arms.
The moment that confirmed it was when you came to me as a wolf and told me about your feelings. Back then, I wasn't a bike rider, but a suicidal guy who'd arrived here through Kamifujiyoshi. Hello, Xerox. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. You'd have no reason to think that you could just hitch a bike ride with me. You know that the real abnormality here isn't the feast, but the looping. It wouldn't make sense otherwise. She suddenly screamed. In her hand, he held a familiar hunting knife. It didn't work. Dropping it all on her so suddenly was too much for her to handle. The regret dulled my mind, my vision sharpened, and I saw her slowly charge at me. I might have been used to death by now, but I didn't want it to be slow and painful. I used the time I was given to just close my eyes. An impact. I collapsed on my back. A sharp pain assaulted me. At least, I thought it was going to. But it didn't. It was just a warm weight against my body. I slowly opened my eyes. Her face was brimming with intense emotion. As her eyes filled with tears, the hand with the knife went limp. The blade fell free.
No, no way. There's no way I wasn't the only one. This is just a dream, isn't it? I'm about to wake up and start the feast again, right? Don't give me false hope. Not with his face, at least.
This isn't a dream. Well, to be clear, though it might be reduced to a dream eventually, this moment is real right now. And since we share the memories the dreams give us, the moments we share will never be merely dreams.
Haruaki-san? I don't have any weapons on me right now. I won't strangle you either. I won't do anything at all, so... Can I cling to you?
Yeah.
Haruaki-san!
She clung to my chest and wailed. Funny. Emotion, tears, none of it was restrained.
I was so scared. I was so scared. It was so lonely. I was the only one going back again and again and again and again. I killed and got killed by them all so many times, and their deaths, their words, they all just kept piling up.
How many loops have you had? Holy shit! Oh my god!
I stopped counting after 100.
It must have been hard.
It was!
As I embraced her, crying without end, I felt something myself as well. This was a hell from which not even death could save you. Wandering through it all alone, one couldn't help feeling frail and helpless. I'd spent most of my time here chasing after the mystery behind it all. As long as I still had ideas to try, the mystery was both my greatest fear and fascination. But what if I ran out of ideas? What if I tried everything I could think of, only to discover there was no escape from this loop, and that I was a prisoner of it for eternity? My worst fear was a mystery without an answer. As one faced with that very possibility, I could really relate to her. The alcohol must have made her more emotional too. She was crying unceasingly, and as someone who cared about appearances, I had to hold back from getting emotional myself. It took her almost an hour to calm down. She began talking. I wouldn't have minded it if she just went to sleep, but the joy and excitement from finally finding someone who shared her experience probably wouldn't have let her. It was time to check some answers.
I'm impressed that you knew. Yeah, I was actually sawing off barrels.
In this timeline, I'm an outsider who ended up not participating in the feast. And you didn't have your guns, right? Is that because I interrupted you and made you leave the shotguns in Saranaga?
Seriously? You really are a detective, aren't you?
If I was, I wouldn't be relying on theories and assumptions like this. It's an evidence-based profession. That's why I need to ask. Next question. Are you a murderer?
No. Not yet. This time, anyway. At least, I hadn't killed anyone before coming back to Yasumisu.
But you had 2 guns, right?
I just wanted to go hunting with Kanzo Ji-chan. At first, anyway.
He continued to talk. It was May of her 3rd year in college. Time to go job hunting. With the job market in the state it was, most of the leads she found on work sounded more like horror stories. I know several people going through this right now. And I wish them the best of luck, and every day I count my blessings that I have the job that I have. I wouldn't say it's the most fulfilling, but it's very stable, and stability is a precious thing. Some couldn't find a job despite checking 100 places. Some went straight to exploitative businesses. Some had all the credit in the world, yet ended up working at the docks or something. Jamie had no particular profession in mind, nor did she find any ideas at her seminars, so she was at a loss. Her situation was made even worse when her boyfriend left her. Huh? So you're like me?
Shut up.
He was your second boyfriend, right? Why'd he break up with you?
You remember all the details, huh? Anyway, he said that girls with guns creep him out.
That might have been weird from a normal man's perspective, but personally, that just intrigued me. How long had you been dating?
We got together at the start of coding week, and he left me right after it was over.
Ouch.
Should I just kill you?
Anyway, the failed relationships and life in the city in general were starting to get to her, so she started to consider moving back here after graduation. Back to Fujiyoshi, a place she supposedly hated.
I had forgotten most of the bad things after moving away from here.
She used job hunting as a pretext to take a short vacation, and she returned here 2 days ago on Friday. She figured that refreshing her mind and body here would help her with the job search. The locals neither celebrated nor disliked the fact that she came back. They just gave her a normal welcome. They hadn't changed. She, however, had.
In the past, I used to study after waking up at 5, but now I'm so used to the easy college life that my circadian rhythm was completely off. I even forgot my MD player, and I couldn't borrow from anyone here since no one had one. Man, did I think that the rural life was uncomfortable. No convenience stores nearby either, and since everyone else is so frugal, they don't even feel like drinking with me. I expected something different, to be honest. This is where I belong, and all that. Yeah, no. This place is half abandoned. Why'd I ever expect something like that? I realized that this isn't the place for me either. I slept and woke up on May 10th, yesterday morning. That was the point I looped back to at first. That was unexpected. I asked and found out something more. The point to which she looped back to had changed twice so far. The first time was the morning of May 10th. This return point stayed consistent for 57 times. Ugh. Honestly, I don't think I would have been able to keep track of it so precisely myself. I'd just lose my mind after a point. Of course, it was just a normal day for me the first time. I spent 2 days doing nothing, and then the mist came. I was hanged on the first day. They said something about me bringing corruption from the outside. Horrible, right? I can still remember the first time my breathing stopped. Then I looped back. At first, I thought it was all just a long nightmare. But then the mist came again. I looped back many times. No matter what I said or did, I couldn't make it past the 4th day. I was really sad about it. I thought it showed just how worthless I was to them. Yeah, sorry. You know it's not that simple. But by my 57th death,
I just figured that was how it was. Not like it was a big deal to them. I was a wolf after all. The wolves back then were Chiemi and Tai Yamawaki-san. With Chiemi being easy to suspect, and Tai-san not handling herself well, they just couldn't win the feast. Still, they'd successfully brutalized a few people before both of them got hanged. In the end, Chiemi took the initiative and committed murders with her own 2 hands. It hadn't taken long for her to try and just kill everyone while breaking the rules. Her trial and error became a matter of just, who'd I kill and how? After that, there was a change. Mako-chan wandered in. It happened the day after the first restart point. It was already 2 AM now, so that would be the morning of yesterday, May 11th. The boring, meaningless day suddenly became a big deal. The reason for that was the lost girl who'd wandered in from upstream Saranaga. Takumi-san had told me that it wasn't uncommon for Saranaga to bring corpses, but this was the first time it brought a living human. Not just any living human, a lost girl of unknown origins. According to Chiemi, if there was some trouble in Yasumisu, they couldn't just call someone to inform them about it. Instead, there was an unspoken agreement that they would just bring it up while chatting with the driver of the truck that brought food and supplies here once a week. They'd mentioned the lost girl, and since the driver was in touch with the Higuchis, the village heads would know about it too. If something was done about a problem they were told about, that was great. But if it wasn't, it meant that Kami Fujiyoshi didn't plan to get involved. They had tried to get help by phone once, but that got the truck driver to just not bring the supplies for a week, which was pretty messed up. That was incredibly messed up. The next supply run would be Thursday, some time away, so they didn't know what to do with the girl. Tai-san screeched about chasing her out, but in the end Rikako-san agreed to take her in. The problem was solved. For anyone but Chiemi, anyway. I mean, she just appeared out of nowhere on the 50th time. I wondered what that was all about. It was a change just big enough to make me wonder if there was hope in this nightmare. The feast soon started, and the guardian assignments changed a lot. Takumi-ni-chan was the snake and revealed it on the first day. You probably know this timeline. Oh. So basically the timeline where I was alive, but didn't participate, was similar to the one where I just wasn't there at all. Still, she was human in the new timeline, and that change gave her hope, so she started experimenting again. It didn't take long for her to despair again. Takumi-ni-chan died early, and I either got hanged or killed by wolves early. One time Kaori-san went crazy and poisoned the food. The ones who died happened to be the wolves, and we won. I left Yasumisu then, but the late-night bus got engulfed in mist, and I don't know what happened, but it probably crashed, and I got sent back. The return point was now Sunday morning. The moment Mako-chan wanders in had become the new routine. I still didn't see a way out. The morning of May 11th, it was the restarting point that she'd went back to more often than any other. Overcome by despair, she started trying to challenge the feast's rules. She tried escaping the mist, surviving the corruption after killing more than one in a day, etc. After dozens of tries, she concluded there was no way to escape these laws. By that point, she'd killed each of the locals dozens of times. Whenever I saw their faces, I began thinking of their corpses and dying screams from this time or that time. These memories began just popping up in my mind. It wasn't like it hurt or anything. I had actually gotten too okay with it. I actually began to think that that might have been the true reality. That everyone had already died and become Yomibito. That the story I heard as a wolf was right. That's when I just started doing whatever and seeing what stuck. I even tried killing everyone before the feast began, even though I knew there was no way it could lead me to victory. And well, it didn't. No matter how hard I tried, I was either hanged, killed, or got caught in the mist and died. At that point, I was already tired of dying. It hurt, of course, but more than that, it just became boring. The only way to beat the boredom now was to find new ways to kill people. The many impossible deaths happening on repeat had warped her heart and mind. So, yeah. I'm a real murderer now. Yeah, one of my fears is the concept of eternity. Personally, I do not want there to be life after death. Because anything that involves eternity will eventually lead to ennui for me. And what kind of existence is that? And I'm just speaking for myself, you know? I'm not saying that other people have to feel the same way or anything like that, but that wasn't a thing to say with such a smile. Haruaki-san, don't become... I finally realized what that meant. Don't become like me. That's what you wanted to say, right? Yeah. It was a well-placed warning indeed. Unfortunately, back then, I not only missed it, but went on to become the absolute worst murderer I could think of. Your arrival was the third change since Meiko-chan came. The starting point moved about 12 hours, too. The night of May 11th. The day before the feast, as well as the day I got lost on my bike ride, and Shamie went out to prepare to kill. That was the newest starting point, and the one she and I actually shared. At first, I didn't expect much. You were just a funny guy who'd probably die like Mamiya-san and Hashimoto-san. But after you came, for some reason, more and more changes started happening. Mamiya-san survived for once. I became a wolf again. And, What? Yeah, I was thinking about her too, since... if him arriving started a new loop, and her arriving started a new loop, then... Mako. Very curious. Nothing. Anyway, then Hashimoto-san survived, and the roles changed again. I understood everything once I saw Haru-chan go to the construction site. Oh yeah, since the wolves did their jobs when everyone was sheltering, anyone who stayed outside and watched would quickly know who they were. You were a human until then, but when you became a wolf, I was worried that you'd go insane like I did. And that's why I said that. I didn't really want to remember that. Once I'd become a wolf, I'd intended not to be bound by Yasumisu's rules. But in the end, I'd become an utter madman. And to make it worse, I ended up dancing on the palm of God's hand. Jamie's words might have become a subconscious brake for the madness racing within me. That was why her face came to mind whenever I was partaking in something really messed up. Anyway, this reminded me of another mystery. Wait, how did you go outside back then? I just stood on the second floor of the dorm and shot any dogs going up. Wait, what? You can beat the night just like that? A gun is all you need? No, it just buys you some time. Eventually, the real deal comes. Real deal? The thing with the wolf head and the human body. That has to be a human wearing clothes like the ones given to the wolves. That werewolf, man-wolf, works for Shinai-san, a servant of the Okami-sama. You were a wolf, so you saw the figures in the Hanging Pines graveyard, right? That was Shinai-san, and those who met out his punishments are werewolves. Did I pronounce that right? Meat? That's one of those words that I have read a lot, and I know what it means, but I can't remember ever hearing it said out loud. And then there are lots of them. Shinai was Okami. Great Lord Shinai and Okami-sama were the same thing. Amiya-san said that too. Meat? Okay, thank you. 3 creatures who came to you in a dream. Beside them, there were lots of monsters who carried out their will. God had implied that the dogs, the bringers of corruption, were the servants of the badger, Mujina-sama. Using those werewolves as underlings might have been the power of Great Lord Shinai as Okami-sama. Very much appreciated, Zadie. So, even if you get rid of the bringers of corruption, you'll always die when faced with that thing. Jamie nodded. It didn't look like I could go anywhere from here. I would just leave it at that. Back to what we were talking about. Why did you decide to wait for us outside? I thought I'd just end it. Huh? I was all alone in the feast. But there was this person who helped me out a lot. Me. Honestly, you just made it a bigger mess. Oh, and I died a lot of times thanks to you. Sorry. Oh, don't worry. I killed you tons of times too. Really? Then I guess we're even. You're quick to bounce back, aren't you? You weren't that upset, were you? I'd only care about it if you did. Anyway, who's the person? Rikako-san. Rikako Uematsu. She helped you? She's a Fujiyoshi person to the core. But I'm sure she's the best person here. Sure, she's rampantly superstitious and super conservative, but also refined, devoted. And she treats outsiders, as well as outcasts like me, like equals. She isn't disgusted by us. The bedroom woman's servant who took in anything, huh? If Fujiyoshi had a good old ex about it, it's probably her. She's like a huge pile of all good things about the past. You fell for her too, didn't you? No, not really. Liar. Well, I can see the appeal though. Anyway, She's an anomaly here in Fujiyoshi. Even in Kami Fujiyoshi? Yeah. The Uematsu are on the decline and... well, it's a family with circumstances, and everyone knows it. Oh. She's pretty, but almost too weird for most to deal with. The Nosato blockhead is probably her only fan. He barely even gives him the time of day, though. Chimi grinned cruelly. He was pretty hard on him, huh? I see. So why are you indebted to her? Does this have something to do with how she became super corrupted in that first loop? I'm still wondering about that. For many things. He defended me during the feast, became my shield when someone went wild and tried to kill me, and took in the corruption, among other things. What do you mean? Do you remember how in this timeline, the local old man and Mochi both die at the same time? And how she becomes a Yomibito the next day? Yeah, I do. You know something about it. The old man killed Mochi. I killed the old man. Huh? I'm not surprised that you killed him, but... the old wolf guy killed Mochi? That pisses me off. I was pretty surprised too. When we split up and searched for them, I found Mochi already dead. The old man laughed and attacked me, so I reflexively... you know.
I need time.
So he was planning on getting away if he lost the vote, even if it meant killing someone. Yeah, Hanzo Ji-chan probably suspects that, too, so in timelines where he's alive, he just hangs him by force. But that's weird. Killing more than one per day or trying to run away means death. Yeah, I know that better than anyone. How did he plan to avoid dying? Was he just not thinking about it? I think he was just too senile to think that far ahead. Is that possible? Honestly, I couldn't help but feel like he'd chosen to kill out of malice. I really had to find a way to get some information out of him. Wait, more importantly, how did you survive after splashing the old wolf guy? I told you, Rikako-san took in the corruption for me. Huh? You mean she passed on the feast penalty to herself? Yeah. After splashing the old man, I was like, oh man, did I mess up? Guess this is it for this time. That's when Rikako came out of the mist. She was surprised, but then she said, "You will not die. I will take in your sin and corruption." You sound just like her. I know, right? Did we really talk about this so casually? The sullen mood had vanished, and we were now talking about this stuff over a few beers. I think it's fine. We're not murderers yet. Let the past loops get to you and you'll go nuts in no time. This was bothering me so much, and you took care of it like it was nothing. Oh well, I guess I'll take it easy. Anyway, Rikako-san protected me, so I went back to change my clothes. We talked then, remember? Who's there?
Oh, Haruaki-san.
Whoa, Jamie yet again? What a twist.
What's that supposed to mean? Sorry, but you should stay there right now. This might be really bad.
Huh? Hold on, open up. Oh yeah. So you were changing out of your bloody clothing back then.
Yep, I like that getup. I had a spare.
Now that she mentioned it, I did feel like she'd said that. Anyway, you went against the 1 per day rule. Yeah, from my experience, you always suffer the corruption at night after breaking it. That timeline was the only exception. And since Rikako-san had taken it in, like she said, the corruption went to her, huh? But wasn't she supposed to be torn apart? That's Yomi's corruption. Yomi's corruption? The strongest, worst corruption. Such an it makes you, Yomi Bito. Jamie was now acting afraid of something. Okay, I get why you feel in debt to Rikako-san. Why you wanted to give up on the feast, and how you got here. Now for a more serious question. You probably won't like this, but it's necessary to get to the heart of the matter. Can you help me out? Of course, if it's something you can't handle, you can just stop. Jamie lightly nodded. You are invested in something supernatural that the others here aren't. One of them is the corruption, and the other is God. Tell me about both. You remember everything, even when you die. So, I don't wanna... You'll hate and be disgusted by me forever. I don't want that. You're the only one who can understand me. It's fine. I didn't feel much about you being a murderer, right? But... It's fine. You promise you won't hate me? I promise. After a few seconds of hesitation, she finally gathered her resolve. She then put her hands inside the collar and took something out. A metallic trinket on a metal chain, showing 3 symbols. A whirl and a diamond. It was the sign of the Yomotsu Okami. I remember the time I picked it up in Saranaga after I'd won against Chiemi as a snake. So it belonged to her, huh? That thing is front and center in the, title menu. This is... No, don't look! Erisawa-sama. I am so sorry. That is a corruption not even I can take in. It came back to me. Rikako-san had discovered something pendant-like that Chiemi was wearing. After that, Chiemi went nuts and ran off into the mist. That meant that what I'd found in Saranaga on the other timeline had been dropped by her after she jumped off the cliff. And I finally realized another thing. Here, the talisman with the sign of the Yomotsu Okami, Yomi itself, was the worst of omens, and actually wearing it couldn't have been a good thing. It could only represent the worst, most fearful, and maddening of things. This is something I've been wearing since I was little. You know what this means, right? A whirl and a claw. The sign of the Yomotsu Okami. The lord of the corrupted hunting grounds. Why do you have that? Because I'm corrupted. My old name. Oh! Was Chiemi Miguruma. Miguruma? The tower lookouts. The top of the 4 head families in Kamifujiyoshi. The snake?
Jamie Miguruma was the daughter of the snake. She didn't have any siblings, so she was supposed to become the wife of the man who'd be adopted and become the head of the family. At least, until she was 5. Jamie's eyes turned dry and empty. That day, I playfully opened the iron door to the basement of the 3rd lookout. I was told never to go there, and the door had that symbol on it. And...
Calm down, Jamie-chan. You saw dogs, didn't you? She came back to her senses, and the light returned to her eyes. I knew it. I could see part of the conspiracy. The dogs bit you, right?
Yeah.
As it became harder for her to speak, she pulled up her sleeves and showed me her wrists. They were old, but clearly visible scars on them.
Anyone who takes in Yomi's corruption will eventually go mad and die. We Migurumas had that drilled into our heads since we were little.
Why do the Miguruma have them?
Naranaga isn't the only entrance to Yomi. It has its mouth open in many places. The Omatsu family used to protect us against it, but they couldn't do it anymore, so...
The Miguruma took it upon themselves. Jamie nodded.
A daughter who received Yomi's corruption wasn't suitable for the Miguruma. That's why, just like Mochi, I was disowned. Sorry, I've calmed down now.
Don't force yourself.
It's fine. I had my surname changed to that of a branch family, and was sent to Yasumizu. Again, just like Mochi.
Huh. So they changed surnames because of this disowning. Oribe was probably Kaori-san's maiden name, but yeah. I could see how they worked around this. No one seems to know that you were a Miguruma, though.
The Miguruma are a very secretive family. They hide any births and deaths in the family for about 10 years.
You can't shut out a gossip, can you?
The Miguruma can. The people who do the reports and everyone at the funeral home are Miguruma.
I see. But why are they so secretive?
I left when I was little, so I can't be sure. But they probably think that secrets have power.
Secrets? Mysteries could mobilize people, huh? Intelligence management was extremely important when keeping a group in line. Especially for the Miguruma who are doing something dangerous.
This pendant is proof of the corruption. Some corrupted, some fated to become part of Yobi. But I was told that it would hold the corruption back and keep it under control until the time came. Yamotsu Okami were scare Yobibito, which I believe controlled other Yobibitos, so I thought this would keep me, a corrupted Yomibito, from going wild. I was really scared of that happening. There was nothing more than her earnest beliefs. That was why I understood just how pure and profound her feelings were. She'd come to know immense despair at an extremely young age.
So you went to Yasumisu and then what?
Well, I went nuts. I was young, but I knew that I was corrupted and sent to a corrupted place. Taiba-chan was my primary victim. He was the one in charge of the dining hall, and I always refused the food.
Oh, so that was why they were still so distant.
I entered elementary school as a Serisawa, and I was the only student from Yasumisu back then. It was pretty hard. I was bullied, and if I fought back, they'd team up and make me out to be the bad guy. It kind of worked out because the teacher knew what was going on. But then the teacher transferred to another school. My situation got really bad. Then Oribe-san and family moved in. Then Yasukun, Haru-chan, and Yoshi-kun started going to school. I became the big sister character, so I had to do my best. And then, well, you know.
You kicked the crap out of someone. I kicked the crap out of someone.
Well, I got chewed out and punished pretty harshly, and might have made the situation even worse for Yasumisu. But all the bullying stopped, so I'm proud of what I did.
I see. So that was why the children here adored her, but she felt awkward around the adults. So it was a conscious sense of duty that made you do it?
I was mostly just pissed.
I don't mind. It's cool.
I was a pretty rough girl.
But at the core of it all, there was the fear of the corruption, right? Deep down, you were scared by the thought you'd go insane eventually. Or were just desperate.
You know everything, don't you?
Sorry, I didn't mean to seem like a know-it-all.
It's fine. I'm glad to have someone who at least tries to understand me.
Jamie giggled. She could laugh at it now, but probably only because she'd grown up and realized a few things. Did you look into a lot when you left for college? Like about the dogs and stuff?
Well, yeah.
Should you really still be afraid of them?
I'm scared of God and its corruption. The science behind the disease doesn't change much.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. In one of the timelines I was in, I met God.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure I know what kind of thing God is. But I feel like it's a bit different from the image of God you gave me. Jamie, can you see God? As in visually?
Everyone has met God. Maybe they just can't see it. You think it's insane, right?
Looping and God itself are already pretty insane, to be honest. I'm ready to accept anything at this point.
How flexible. Are you an octopus?
Why did everyone like comparing me to weird stuff so much?
Yeah. I can see it.
Is it different than the three you see when you get the blessing of the wolf?
God is on everyone.
Even little girls like Mako.
It's not really clear on her. It seems big, though. Whatever it is.
I was told there are 3 gods in Yasumisu.
Huh? Who told you that?
That's a secret.
The only Yasumisu gods I know are Shinai-sama and God.
Inai-san is a god, no?
Shinai-san is a god, but not the god I have in mind.
The god on Haru-chan is the one you're thinking of, right?
Yeah.
I think I get it.
Really? Tell me more.
Not right now.
Hey, don't be like that!
No. At this point, I was now able to split up and think about the problems I was involved with right now individually. One problem was the prevention of the Feast of the Yomi Purge. Another problem was the prevention of the giant monster's resurrection. And the third problem was the ending of the loop. They were all related, but they'd all need different solutions. And to fix the first one, the feast, I'd have to use the looping to do something about God. Specifically the god that had Chiemi, as well as everyone else in Yasumisu, completely imprisoned. Weak, powerless god, my ass. This one was a pain to deal with because they were powerless. I had to be careful about how I dealt with it. As well as Chiemi, God's prisoner. I'll keep it a secret for a while longer.
Why?
Because I know that secrets have power. We continued exchanging info. I couldn't keep the ship hidden, so I started with that. When I loop back, I always see a sheep, and that's probably the reason why I keep my memories. What about you?
I don't remember anything like that.
That meant that the reason she kept her memories was different from mine. Also, her memory retention was less consistent than mine. Some memories actually felt like a dream for her, and often lacked clarity. She said for all she knew, she might have looped a lot more times than she realized. I was curious why she kept her memories, but I set it aside for now. Anyway, according to the sheep, the loops were happening because of the dream. I thought over, in my own way, the things it quickly shared with me. Something had absorbed Fujiyoshi and its general area into a dream. It was absurd, but I had to accept it. An area of some square kilometers had been detached from the real world, meaning that this was like a virtual reality. This space could be restarted, and it probably had a different flow of time. I'd spent a lot of loops here, but I'd bet not even a second had passed in reality. This dream could happen over and over without wasting any time. That gave the mastermind behind it countless chances to create the ending they wanted. And once that happened, the dream would stop being a dream. It would become prophetic, basically. Or, rather, stop being reset as just a dream and turned everything that happened into reality. That meant that I could be going about my business, still thinking that I could retry it all, and when the master of the dream could just yank the rug out from under me and be like, nope. This was as if reality had an intrusive editor who told the author to turn anything he didn't like into a dream. Ugh, man, that was messed up.
According to the sheep and Chamy's info, the range of the dreams had changed.
At first, the dream just looped around, but when some outsider came in, it started going all weird and shit. You made a huge mess of things, and that right there's the result. The dream changed because of me?
After that, there was a change. Mako-chan wandered in. Your arrival was the third change since Mako came. The starting point moved about 12 hours, too. I had no idea how many loops the sheep had been through since starting, but it did mention that things didn't change much at the start. That meant that the result was the same no matter how much the dream repeated, far from the ending the dream's architect desired. That was when they brought in the first outsider, probably Chiemi. The method was most likely moving the dream's start sometime further. When Chiemi had returned to Fujiyoshi, he had already entered the dream, unwittingly becoming trapped in the loop. Because the start of the loop, the starting point, was pushed a bit later, Chiemi became a character in the dream. Chiemi was the first one who had memories of the previous loops, and with her joining, the dream began to change. However, those changes didn't satisfy the mastermind, especially with Chiemi not really doing anything constructive. Thus they moved the start a bit later again, this time taking in Mako, who, from what it seemed, didn't have memories of the previous loops. It wasn't hard to guess that nothing was changed by her joining. The third one to enter was me. And I, unaware of the mastermind's plot, tried out various things and ended up fulfilling their wishes. The sheep said that the mastermind still didn't know about its involvement. However, they must have known that Chiemi and I often did unexpected things. Though I wasn't sure if they were aware that we had our memories. They either didn't know about it, or just didn't know the cause. So I guess we shouldn't reveal that we remember stuff, huh?
Yeah, especially around the people of Yasumisu.
Huh? What? You're saying that one of them is the mastermind?
That's likely. At the very least, I'm pretty sure that the Miguruma have nothing to do with the looping.
Why?
Because their goal is different than Great Lord Shinai's. But who could it be? Who's hiding another god? Is it possible for a person to hide their god from your sight?
I can't really see the gods of the people I don't know.
I see.
Basically, her ability was like an eye for reading people. Even though you couldn't know for sure based on just faces, some people could intuitively figure out certain things about others by just finding out more about them. In her case, such info was just more visual. It might have been a kind of synesthesia. There were people in the world who perceived numbers as colors. With that in mind, I shouldn't have expected her supernatural to be the solution to this supernatural problem. Instead, I should rely on her ability to retain memories. What do we do now? I'd like to see more endings so I can help set some conditions.
The only outcomes I know are the ones where wolves achieve a flawless victory, the one where humans achieve a normal victory, and one where wolves achieve a Ferric victory. The Ferric victory ended up summoning the monster, so that's no good, but I don't actually know the exact cause of the summoning. Was it related to the feast? Or did I step on some other landmine? I have no idea. That's why I think we have to try challenging the feast a whole bunch more times.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What about running off into the forest and having a good time there?
We'll die, right?
There might be a way out somewhere.
Oh, that's true.
Then let's search for one. Honestly, I didn't think that it would get us any closer to the truth.
But I didn't put much effort into protesting either. She'd been in so many feasts that it became traumatic for her. She wanted to avoid going through it again. She didn't want to be more aware of what kind of murderer she was becoming. All right. I would do this with her until she was satisfied. Even if this was a challenge without a real end, it was worth it as long as she could find peace. We tried using our memories to quickly fix the bike and leave. We tried going out through Saranaga before the mist came. We waited until the mist came and tried to leave through the forest in full hiking gear I got from the convenience store. No idea why they were selling that. That convenience store is... In the end, we either were engulfed in mist and died before even realizing it, or were engulfed in mist and died without getting anywhere. In the latter cases, Jamie either died by breaking apart again, or we were caught by those monsters. After trying it enough times, we both became used to it. It's really convenient.
Oh, I'm crumbling again,
She'd say. Then let's stop, I'd reply, as we aimed our guns at each other and killed one another. Xerox, you say, you wonder if they sell god-killing spray too. Might as well ask, they might have it in the back room. Taking advantage of shortcuts like that, we came back over and over and tried again. Nothing seemed to work, so we tried spending a night outside after the mist came. We got rid of the dogs with water and guns. I quickly found out that this was a mistake, since Jamie couldn't keep her presence of mind. Unable to bear the tension and fear, she would mumble something about God and either run off or kill herself. Then no matter what happened afterwards, I ended up killed by the monster-looking thing. Whether the monster was actually real or not wasn't a problem anymore. I'd already known that any rule breakers would be punished. The problem here was that Jamie still wanted to continue these pointless loops.
Let's go there this time. Let's hide here this time.
I patiently played along. Being certain that there was no point in this, I played along with her attempts to escape about 50 times. We continued to do this for a while before I told her to let me try something, and somewhat forcefully took the lead. What I wanted to try was a feast victory with minimal casualties, and how many days could be passed without murder. For that, we had to figure out what sort of rules governed the Guardian assignments. I actually had an idea for how it worked. The first time, the time I was a snake, the time I was a wolf, and the time Jamie had first become a wolf. Over them all, I noticed there were trends such as Jamie's tendency to become a wolf, or Mochi's tendency to be a monkey. To find out the nature of these trends, I wrote down the guardian distributions I knew on a table. First, I tried putting the names in order, then writing down their guardians, but I didn't find any pattern there. Akumi also had a tendency to be snake. Then I had the idea to try basing it on their dwelling locations and... bingo. The monkey was obviously dependent on where the people lived, and they didn't change much across loops. It was clear that Takumi-san tended to get the snake, and I'd gotten it instead of him that time because our houses were close together. The same could be said about Kaori-san and Yoshitsugu, who getting the crow. Basically, the guardians were giving out to the houses rather than people. I was familiar of a way of allocating data that changed slightly, but not by a lot. I knew a means to bring about such results. A ghost leg lottery. It wasn't a completely random method. Even if you used tons of lines, the results wouldn't split up properly without intent. And even if there were new possible options, the results wouldn't change without removing or adding new lines. Even if you added 2 or 3 new options to a ghost leg lottery, you would add them to the right and add a few branches, and that would leave the left side mostly unaffected. 2 or 3 lines would just shift the result a bit to the side, but not much farther than that. That had to be it, right? As in, someone held a ghost leg lottery to decide who got which guardian. That theory in mind, I sought out a particular person. Hey, Mochi. Whoa, why do you know my nickname? Ignore that and just look at this. It's a popular puzzle. Can you write down a ghost leg lottery with these results? I want you to make it so that removing this line does this, and adding a line here does this. What? I have no idea how to do that. Just whatever feels right to you. Huh. Like this? He actually met the conditions perfectly. How like him. Like hell a puzzle like this could be popular. His talent for getting the answer right without proof actually scared me. It was a talent that could turn society on its head, but that wasn't important at the moment. To see whether the ghost leg lottery was usable, I attacked the Nosado mansion once. Oh, aww. Specifically, I broke the windows the day before the biz came, and he was so scared that he returned to Kami Fujiyoshi next morning. My theory was that the lottery began with the settlement's upper region. That was why adding new people to the empty houses affected the guardian assignment, while Kyonosuke continued to be human. Thus, without him, the roles would have to change drastically. With those conditions, I tried a case in which Mamiya-san and Hashimoto-san both died, while I took the Gen-san's dude's place. I ended up being the snake, while Chiemi was the badger. The wolves ended up being Yoshitsugu-kun and Mochi. The ghost leg lottery was completely accurate. That's an interesting combination. Huh. I would have liked to see how they would have been as wolves. I also tried looking into how the distribution worked before Mako came, and apparently there was a human missing in the middle. That confirmed that the Guardians weren't handed out by a supernatural force, but through this ghost leg lottery. Using this, I could also create lots of patterns. By changing my residence, I could get whatever Guardian I wanted. A good one would allow me to get through it without any problem. At that moment, I excitedly told Chamie that the feast was as good as ours. I'd never forget the dead eyes she looked at me with. So, when will it end? I finally realized that I made a huge oversight. Chamie had passed her limit long ago. And I'd forgotten that my sense for such things was a bit different than a normal person's. I wanted to clear the feast with a minimal number of deaths, and find out how many days could go by without a murder. It required the agreement of all the participants. It wasn't something I could do by myself, and I needed Chamie to try with me. I didn't mind looping about 100 times more. She, however, didn't want to loop ever again. She tried weird things before because she wanted to try a method that could let her win quickly and easily, even if it was absurd. In her eyes, my plan to loop hundreds upon hundreds of times in a case of trial and error was simply unacceptable. I was killed. She wanted to kill me, and so she shot me right up front. Haruaki-san, what if the winning move is to kill you 100 times? I realized that I'd never considered what a threat Chamie with memories could be. Oh my god! Holy shit! I was killed over and over again. Over and over. Sometimes she killed me right upon seeing me in the darkness of Saranaga or the dining hall. This is so damn fun! Your expression is so new to me! I love it! Sometimes she acted out events like I'd remember them, then grinned and killed me when I was completely defenseless. Did you forget? Too bad! Chamie-chan Dark Edition is still alive! Apparently, she didn't remember things until I provoked it somehow. That must have been because the number of loops she spent alone was way lower than the number of loops since we'd started sharing memories. Her loop count was probably way over 100. She was a whole lot more damaged than I first thought. Oh. But after she killed me 63 times, it finally got to me. I'd been attacked in Saranaga about 20 times now. Half of those times, she just blasted me with both shotguns at the same time. Just like this time. Otherwise, she used traps or feints to corner me, then finished me off. So I had no idea how to handle a situation in which I survived her first shotgun blast. No. Why? No. No what? How do you think I feel about getting killed over and over? Honestly, not even I'd expected to find a bulletproof vest in that convenience store. It didn't protect me completely, though. It just kept my torso from being blown to pieces. My ribcage was shattered, and the internal injuries were undoubtedly fatal. Still, I had enough life in me to catch her off guard and fight back. Jamie-chan. How do you want to die? Oh man. This was so satisfying. What do I do next time, though? What would she do to me after this? Would this just continue forever? This might have been an actual dead end. Man. Such a damn pain in the ass. End of the line for me this time. Sorry. She could still breathe. My consciousness faded at about the same time as I delivered the final attack. The next loop came. I entered Yasumisu through Saranaga and encountered Chamie, just like always. This time was different, though. She didn't have any weapons. Chamie didn't attack me or run. She just vacantly looked at nothing in particular. Nice to meet you, Chamie Serizawa-san. I sat down next to her. Nice to meet you, Haruaki Fusaishi-san. What a mechanical response. Saying each other's name on our first encounter had become common practice since we started sharing memories of the loops. However, neither of us said anything more this time. It was awkward. All friends kill each other 50 or 60 times, it's fine. It felt like we just had a fight. Well, not like we hadn't. What is it? Are you mad? I don't have a reason to be. Yeah, but you are mad. The pain in the ass hurt a bit to hear. I mean, can you blame him for saying that, Jamie? Like, I can't blame you either for being the way you are, but... Hey, don't get teary on me now. I fought back only once. There was no love in the way you killed me. Now that's a quote. Well, I didn't mean for there to be any love in it. And I don't know how I'd feel if you told me that your kills did. I know. I know what you mean. I got so carried away. Don't you help me forget the feeling of isolation? I can kill you countless times and do whatever to you, so I thought you'd forgive me always. And that's just awful. Sorry. Last loop I realized that I really was being a pain in the ass for you, but you only saw this whole thing in terms of your own goal. What? It wasn't our goal to you. I'm just a side character to you, and all that matters to you is whether I'm useful or not. I only said that because I was just a bit pissed, that's all. That's a lie. You lie so much. I finally realized. You scare me. Even more than God. Being hurt, killed, or simply glared at by you scares me more than anything. That's how much I love you. You're scary because I love you. And I love you because you're scary. I want to kill you because I love you, and I love you so much I want to kill you. I know that's weird, but that's what I realized. I really do love you.
But it's a feeling that's not mutual at all. That wouldn't have changed even if I wasn't killing you, right? Stop with the You always say that before telling a lie. You're not going to eat? I have a bunch of allergies. What do you mean by, I already tried it? It's just something random I thought up on the spot. You'd be surprised how convincing mysterious words can be. I'm Haruaki Fusaishi, a graduate student in Tokyo College. Hey, who are you, really? A student, a doctor, a detective, or just a murderer? I don't know anything anymore. I love you, want to kill you, you scare me. I want to be closer to you, run away from you, become one with you. I want everything you are, but I can tell you don't want that. But I don't know what'll happen after that. I figured that maybe just killing you over and over would keep me happy, even if it scared me. I always thought this was hell. But maybe it's actually heaven. I pushed her into the river. What are you doing? What are you doing? Kissing you. I mean the pushing. Well, I just thought, what the hell is this girl who killed me dozens of times saying? And I figured I had to get back at you somehow. Okay, repeat after me. I won't do what people don't want me to do. I won't do what people don't want me to do. Just so you know, I don't like being killed over and over, so find a better way to express your love. I'm sorry. Now, I'll look back at all of that as an expression of love and... I don't hate you. I like how insane you are. Really? I mean, no! I won't let you fool me! If that's true, why you've been calling me just Chiemi after we started sharing memories? You noticed? I did! Because liking someone and dating them are two different things. I do like you, but I'd say our compatibility is the worst. Or maybe too good. If we're together for long, we'll just become more and more insane, even after we get out of here. Well, there are societies where you can get by being a little bit weird, but I think that we both should look for someone more normal. And I kinda got close to someone else. Mikako-san. Yeah, and Haru-chan. When did that happen? After you killed yourself. Oh well. Basically, you want to choose someone other than me, even though neither of them even know about you now. That's not it. It's just that I ended up providing them really awful deaths. Hello, Vap. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. Hope you've been doing well. After that, I've been left with feelings of guilt and a desire to at least make them happy next time around. And it'd be insincere to choose you while I still feel that way, right? About as insincere as pushing me down and kissing me. That kiss was payback for all the murders. Then... okay, fine. But really, my lips aren't enough for that. The taste was great. Better than the first kiss you had with her.
I remembered something. It's about the quiz you gave me. You being a thirsty perv is a bad answer, you innocent little girl. You dummy! I'll kill you, I won't kill you. Date me already! Be my darling! And become my first! This is it. This is exactly what I wanted. I love this mix of happiness and embarrassment. It sustains me. Then... no. If I do that, you'll find happiness in this looping hell and stop wanting to leave it. I don't mind that. Like hell. That's not how you were at the start, right? Aw, well, I hope you feel better soon, Vap. If you need a vent, you can, send me DMs. I'll probably be finishing here in like about 30-ish minutes. The looping warps people. Even I was no exception a couple of times. Even if you could tough it out, dying hurts. And it's something no one wants. Imagine if this goes on forever and we keep dying over and over. Maybe even at each other's hands. I'm not confident I can keep liking you in that scenario. You can't deny that either, can you? As long as the loop continues, we won't expire due to old age, and just pile memory upon memory as we go. Imagine if we ended up hating each other. This would become a true hell. I don't want that. I really don't. What a crybaby. Shut up, psychopath. A murderer just called me a psychopath. Anyway, I'd try to stay honest from now on. I can't date you while counting on an escape that's not yet in sight. Thus I said it.
Oh, is this what it means to be heartbroken?
Yeah.
No, huh?
Nope.
Oh. Sorry for killing you so many times.
I got my payback. Sorry for killing you last time. It was just one time, but it was really cruel.
I was so scared.
Sorry.
Sorry I've been a pain in the ass.
Sorry for not being more considerate.
I won't do that again.
I do enjoy the attention you give me, though.
Really?
Really. You should really think about whether you want to kill or date me.
You're right. I had so many dreams of murder that I forgot what's what. I want to forget everything.
Let's go to the hanging pine and jump into the Saranaga. Head first, like this.
Why?
Maybe the head trauma will help us forget what we don't want to remember. Adawaki.
I like that. It's like a couple's suicide.
We really might have been insane. Or maybe that could be said about everyone who was in love. You can't see the bottom from here.
Yeah. Can we really die if we fall?
I'm pretty sure we will.
What if we fall on the flat part of the cliff, survive and suffer?
You got any other ideas, Jamie-san?
Well, maybe we'll fall in the same spot if we hug each other.
You hopeless romantic. Huh?
What's wrong?
At this inappropriate moment, I realized something. I just had a thought that I should be the one at the bottom and take the brunt of the impact.
Wow, you're gonna protect me? But then I won't hit my head and forget, right?
That's not what I mean.
It's not?
I just figured, since I can loop back if I die.
That's not right. I mean, I'm the one who's gonna loop back.
Exactly. I've been going through this while ignoring one of the main issues here. From my perspective, I obviously don't remember what happens after I die, and I always go back to the start after just a moment. But now that I think about it, the same is true for you, right? Because we don't have consciousness when we're dead.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, you told me about things that happened after I died. So I was like, huh?
Exactly. We talked about loops in which neither of us were present, but we still don't know the condition that actually causes the loop to reset. I thought that everything after my death just wouldn't happen.
Same here, but we proved that's not how it works.
Then when does the world loop back?
It has to be some sort of day, like our starting point, right? What's the longest you've survived?
The feast back then ended in 4 days. It was probably 10 days or 2 weeks. Wait. Hold on. I feel like I'd survived way longer than that.
My longest is a week, but now that I think about it, it could happen a while after we die. Like a year.
Yeah, no matter how much time passes after we die, we won't be able to perceive it.
Yep, for all we know, the world could be looping after billions of years, with the end of the universe.
That's not impossible, but I don't think this is quite that ridiculous. We know that someone is behind all this, and that they're creating a loop to bring back the monster. That's why it's best to believe the loop happens once they fail to do that.
That's true.
That means that, if they failed, they would loop back even if we were alive. You ever had that happen? You didn't even know if you were dead or not, but for some reason you loop back.
I did. When Kaori-san went out of control and I happened to survive, I left by bus and...
Same here. It happened when I tried to move to Fujiyoshi and the officer chased me out.
Hell, the same thing happened when we tried to escape by bike recently.
I forgot about that.
How mean.
Of course, it could be that we just crashed in the mist, but the memories aren't clear. And it's weird that we don't remember just this one thing. There must be another trigger to activate a loop.
This is a dream, right? Whose is it?
The sheep had told me that the opponent was a dream wielder. The culprit tries to make their plot come to fruition in the dream.
And if they fail or die, they restart the dream.
That's a clue.
Can we get out? It won't be that easy, huh?
I fell silent. And after looking at the void before me... What do you want to do? Keep trying?
Yeah. But I do want to try falling here at least once.
You masochist.
The memories of all the murders I committed are heavy, and I don't want to keep repeating this. Even if I can't forget it all, I need a bit of a change of pace.
Crushing your skull for a change of pace, huh? What if you lose some important memories?
I'm sure it'll be fine. Yaruaki-san and Shamie I know can find out things like your sudden realization just fine.
What if we forget that we know each other?
That'd be good, actually. It'd be a chance for me to make a fresh start with you. This little masochist is pretty hung up on the idea of taking a dive in your embrace here. This might be my last chance for that.
After all, I'd rejected her.
Having a taste of the sentimentality behind a couple's suicide and actually surviving is pretty insincere, but pretty juicy, huh?
I really like how your mind works in these situations.
Really? You like it?
I do.
You love it from the bottom of your heart?
Right before I was about to talk, my mouth was closed shut. Her lips cut my words short. Not bad.
Get a grip, Haruaki-san. If you're gonna forget this, at least spoil me a bit.
There was no guarantee we'd forget it.
Oh well.
I love you, Chibi. I love you too much.
Man, that sounds like a lie.
Sorry, I seem like a swindler.
You really do. But I love you too, Haruaki-san.
Then...
yeah.
With the hope of starting anew, forgetting all the nonsense, pain, hatred, and sadness, we innocently smiled at each other. And with shared hope, we jumped off the cliff. Aha! Obtained key 3, distant light.
Just like me, Chamie also loops back in time whenever she dies, retaining her memories. Her heart has been wounded and twisted through her maddening cycles of death and rebirth, but she hasn't completely broken yet. She made me realize that the trigger for the loop isn't either of our deaths. In hindsight, there should be times I looped where my cause of death was vague. If I consider the conditions, I may yet catch a glimpse of the mastermind. Sure thing. Let me...
You did it, Chief. You obtained Key 3, one of the final keys. Let's move on to the summary and hint. Bad ending 3. A bunch happens in Chamie-chan's mind. Here, the secrets surrounding Chamie Serisawa were cleared up for the most part. Well, Haruaki Fusaichi went through a rather harrowing experience, but he's gained an ally, so all good, I guess. By the way, Key 3 unlocks 6. Darkness. Select Trap. You'll have to jump far ahead, but next up is making peace with a stubborn one. Look forward to it.
From everyone's perspective, it's me. I came at such a suspicious time, you all know nothing about me.
You're shady, but that's got nothing to do with being a wolf.
A considerate response. From him. Something wasn't right here. What was I to do here? Got it. Ah, so this is where we... Oh. Okay. That was right. I just remembered. Did my memories carry over in a weird way because the method from back then was weird? Well, then again, this wouldn't be the first time my memories didn't carry over properly. Maybe I should have counted myself lucky for remembering at all. I had tons of things to think about. About the beast in the village. The giant monster. The dream enveloping Fujiyoshi, as well as the looping the sheep had told me about. But this wasn't the time to worry about that. The old man before me was one who'd survived the past tragedies in Fujiyoshi. With the old wolf guy being a pain to talk to, I had to rely on him instead. How was I supposed to talk to him? It looked like there was just one way. It's me. I'm a wolf. Upon hearing that, "You're a wolf!" He didn't take out his gun. His expression showed nothing but total confusion. I know from your experience, wolves never reveal themselves. Of course, the humans don't lie, so you can't even imagine why anyone would say something so suicidal.
Shut it!
He finally pointed his gun at me, but his lateness told me just how hesitant he was. I controlled the pace of the conversation. I revealed this because I'm someone who grew up outside the village. I'm not bound by God's curse. Not yet, anyway. Huh? You don't understand? Okay, well, just keep in mind that the feasts from before were isolated and didn't have any outsiders. Your experience doesn't apply to the feast with outsiders. Don't be so concerned, though. I mean no harm. I sat down on the ground, extending my hurting leg forward. Shoot me if you want. Though I'm sure you're aware that a murder without the majority's approval is against the rules, even if it doesn't break the one per day law. I'd confirmed that during my looping with Jamie.
Get to the point.
There's no point. I just feel bad for you.
Huh?
I had to apologize to the Kaori-san and Haru-chan of this timeline. It must be awful for a grandfather to have to kill his granddaughter. I wouldn't want to be the only survivor of such an awful situation. It's too heavy a burden. That's why I came here to talk to you.
What'd you just say?
It must be awful for a grandfather to have to kill his granddaughter. He didn't fire, but he sent a solid kick flying at my solar plexus, knocking the wind from my lungs.
You're a wolf. You gotta be lying. If that's the case, I wouldn't have revealed myself at all. Well, I understand, though. I'm a wolf, and all I'm saying is true. Then why'd you say it?
Will you get it if I say this? If you don't want to kill your granddaughter, kill everyone else. Another kick. It came from my head and hit my head, making me see stars.
I'll hang all the wolves, even my granddaughter.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that. I don't mind if you choose that. But are you really sure? I'm putting my life on the line here, and it's only because I want to open up to you. So could you please respond in kind? I just want to understand before I die. That's why I want to ask you something. Specifically about your experience in the previous feast, and whether you'll sacrifice the laws that have supported you or your granddaughter. Please tell me, Kanzo Makishima-san.
I can't trust you.
Of course he couldn't. But he couldn't ignore or kill me either. Why not sit down? I can't move right now, and we still have time. He silently sat down right before me, cross-legged. The conversation was slow and sporadic. He asked if I and Haru-chan really were wolves over and over again. Well, what he was mostly conflicted about was whether or not to harm his granddaughter, after all. Thus I said this. I'm relieved.
What?
You're actually conflicted about this. Haru-chan didn't hesitate to murder the moment she became a wolf.
Really?
Yes. Kaori-san too. I was against it, and I almost died because of it.
Anyone who becomes a wolf ends up a wolf to the core. Even Haru. Why?
You were human in the other feasts, right? Can you tell me more about them? Huh. Since I imagine this is going to be very long and I don't want to stop in the middle of it, I think I will go ahead and end things right here. I don't want to, but my voice is reaching the end of the line. But damn, we're just off the rails now, and I'm so glad for all the exposition that we are getting. Thank you all so very much for joining me. We'll be back with more Raging Loop on Sunday at 8 p.m. EST. And yeah, as always, Monday, Wednesdays, and Sundays. Hope that you all have a wonderful time zone wherever you are, and as always, please do take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you.